morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to yet another edition of the Pure Digital Passion Podcast with me, Moses Kemibaro. My guest today is Taha Jiwaji, who's the founder and CEO of a company called Beem. Taha is somebody I've known, I think, for over 10 years, since his very first startup, which eventually became Beem, which I believe was called Bongo Live. Thank you very much for joining us, Taha.
Yeah, thanks, Moses. Really glad to be on your program today.
So, Taha, this morning, of course, we're still here at the Radisson Blu, where you've just launched in Kenya. Beem is a business I think I've been aware of now for a few months since we last interacted. I'm super excited that, launching from Tanzania, coming to Kenya, offering this incredible platform of yours. And I'd just like to maybe start off by asking you a little bit about yourself so the audience can know who is Taha, what's your professional and personal background, and then we can sort of go into the business and where it started from and where you are today.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm Taha. I'm Tanzanian, so born and raised in Dar es Salaam, and then went out and studied in the US. So I studied computer engineering and business at Lafayette College in Pennsylvania. And then I went on to work at Cap Gemini, which does tech consulting for kind of very large multinational Fortune 500 companies.
Okay.
And that's really where I really dove deep into tech.
Okay.
And how tech was really working at a global level, right?
Okay.
They were doing projects across the world and teams spread out across the world. But my heart really was always in coming back home.
Okay.
To solve, local problems, which there are plenty of. I think you can agree with me.
Yeah.
And so at that time, my parents ran a computer shop.
Okay.
In Kariakoo. I think you guys have a Kariakoo here.
Downtown. I know Kariakoo in Dar. I've been there before.
So it's a very busy marketplace. And they were selling laptops and computers.
Okay.
And their customers at the time were students, university students.
Okay.
And so they really needed a way to stay in touch with those students and get them to know about what they're selling, and the laptops and promotions and things like that. And obviously back in 2011, there was no easy way for you to do this.
Okay.
And, students aren't going to really read newspapers.
Of course not.
Right? And social media was not as big it is.
It was still early days.
It was still very early days. And you needed a laptop to get onto Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Facebook wasn't even mobile.
No, most people didn't have a smartphone.
Correct.
So SMS was the only real way to reach everyone personally and directly.
Okay.
So we actually just started, with those Nokia 3310s, creating lists and sending messages manually.
Literally one by one.
One by one, that was
my God.
the initial test. Right?
Wow.
So we did that for my parents' business, and it worked. Students kept coming back.
Yes.
And then the more of my parents' colleagues who had similar SME size businesses we talked to, and we tried this with, it worked for them. And so then we just said, okay, this needs to become a business, and we kind of started developing a platform around that to serve those SMEs.
So basically you scratched your own itch. That's what you were doing.
Exactly.
So somewhere between there, something called Bongo Live happened. That's when I think you and I first met.
Exactly.
I was working at Inmobi. I think I was with Jisasu, you knew, I think, from the States. So tell me what happened from that point to Bongo Live. So
Bongo Live, actually, initially when we launched, it was actually an SMS marketing service.
Okay.
So just like if you're familiar with Groupon in the US, you sign up, you tell Groupon, what your interests are. So you would tell Bongo Live, these are my interests.
Okay.
I'm male, I live here, I'm interested in X, Y, and Z. And then we would send you offers based on your interests.
Okay.
So that's how we initially got started.
Okay.
But that side didn't really take off because it was a chicken and egg. Businesses wanted more people on your as subscribers to send to, and subscribers wanted more businesses to get offers from. And we couldn't keep up with that chicken and egg.
Okay.
So we flipped it, and we really only focused on businesses who had their own customer contacts and wanted to stay in touch with them.
I get you. So rather than acquisition, it was more about relationship management.
Exactly.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Exactly. And then that business then evolved incrementally over time. And we really discovered a bigger market outside Tanzania.
Yeah.
And that's when we started serving businesses from across the globe to in other countries beyond Tanzania. So we started with other countries in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, etc., and went as far afield as like Senegal,
Wow.
and really hard to reach markets.
Correct.
That our aim really at that time was to not serve the regular suspects.
Okay.
You know, most companies at that time would go to Kenya, would go to Nigeria, would go to those markets.
Yes.
So we were counterintuitive and went to all the other markets that were hard to do.
And those sort of underserved already,
Underserved at that time.
right? Okay.
And that's why probably people will say, oh, why come to Kenya so late?
Yes.
Because we've now done the rest of the continent really well.
Ah, I see what you're saying. So
And
Kenya was really one of the last places.
One of those, but we already still do, and have had customers from Kenya for quite some time.
Okay.
We just never had an office here.
Okay.
So now, after COVID ended, we said, okay, now's the time. We rebranded to Beem.
So tell me about that rebranding.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the name Beem. I don't
Thank
know
you.
where it comes from, but I just think it's very cool. It sounds very Silicon Valley-like. But where does the inspiration for the name come from?
No, we spent a lot of time thinking about it and trying to get that right,
Yeah.
because we wanted to make it memorable.
Yes.
And Beem really comes from Beam, the light beam.
Aha.
And the idea really is that our services and our mission is really around connecting people,
Yes.
doing it fast, doing it reliably, doing it universally.
Okay. Okay.
And light and beam kind of fits the theme of all
Fantastic.
of this. And that's how it came about.
Connects. Fantastic. So it becomes Beem. You're going through COVID. You come to Beem, and then what happens then?
So now, as you learned in the kind of the presentation, we've seen this transition of consumer behavior drastically, right?
Especially
And that-
post-pandemic. Huh?
Especially post-COVID,
Yeah.
consumer behavior has drastically changed. Digital adoption, social adoption of commerce
Correct.
has really accelerated.
Correct.
And so we started building this product called Beem Moja
Uh-huh.
that really caters to the problems that businesses are facing now on these new channels. And that's another reason why we came to Kenya now, and why the timing is so perfect.
Yes.
Because this is the time that Kenyan businesses are really struggling with these challenges of serving customers, of staying competitive, staying ahead of others, and being able to capture those customers, because now they're on these social channels. They're spending more time on WhatsApp than anywhere else. So how do you as a business stay ahead and serve them and stay where they are? And so that's why we're here now and setting up an office and really launching Beem.
Let's unpack Beem Moja. What is Beem Moja, sort of in the most simplest, easiest to understand way, and what does it solve for?
It solves a couple of problems, right?
Yeah.
One, businesses, like I mentioned, are struggling to adapt to this new customer demand and behavior.
This digital-first consumer,
The
right?
digital, this mobile first, and this social first.
All those things at once. Yeah.
Mobile first was there.
Already,
But
yeah.
social first is now the new thing,
Yes.
right? Especially as smartphone adoption accelerates, social first and mobile first on smartphone is really where customers are.
And that's a major touch point,
And
right?
that's a major touch point, and businesses are really struggling to figure out, do I need a website? Do I need an app?
Yes.
How do I really serve these customers well?
And
They-
meet them where they are.
Meet them where they are. But they
Yeah.
don't need to go far.
Yes.
They need to just do these channels where the customers already are really well, and that's what Modia solves. It brings all of these channels into one place, so businesses can serve those same customers for sales, for customer service, and so many other use cases at scale,
Wow.
right? You can't do that as a business on one phone. You need something that's going to let you do it at scale, so that you can give the same customer experience, whether it's for one customer or the 1,000th customer.
Correct.
And so that's what Modia brings to the table, and really changes the game for businesses to stay ahead.
So if we go a bit more tactical, like in terms of the functionalities and
Yes.
features of Moja, what is it? How does it work?
So we basically help you, your existing WhatsApp number, your existing Facebook account, and your existing Instagram account. We bring those and connect it to Beem Modia.
Okay.
Now your customers, instead of you serving them on your one individual phone, you now serve them on this very organized and very efficient platform for your entire team. So each team gets a user profile, each team member,
Okay.
and now you can manage those conversations across the team. Right? So you can have 10 salespeople, you can have 100 salespeople,
Correct.
all serving those customers in the same place. Right? And the customer doesn't know because they're only chatting with you on one number on WhatsApp or one account on
Yes.
Facebook. So that's what it does first. But it goes beyond that, right? So it brings automation and chatbots so that because now you're able to serve, you want to serve thousands of customers, you need to automate. And that's where chatbots come into play. You automate a lot of the routine tasks that you were doing manually, or
Correct.
your support agents were doing manually,
Yes.
or your sales team was doing manually. You automate those so that you're able to handle a lot more at the same time, but still deliver the same great customer experience that you want to. And then, because chatbots aren't able to do everything, we all know that. We've all played with the chatbot, and it's not going to be able to serve all of your questions.
Correct.
So we understand that. We understand that reality, and that's why we make it so seamless for businesses to switch from a bot, or a consumer to switch from a bot to a live person, so that they can still complete that order. You don't lose that customer, he doesn't drop off, or he still gets his problem resolved.
And then the things that I think you're not necessarily telling me yet, but I am aware of them. But I think there's the aspect of SMS. I believe
Yes.
Moja also supports that. Maybe you can talk a little bit about Moja SMS.
Sure, sure.
And then the other thing is the pre-built CRM, which you also demoed to me a few months ago. So maybe
Yes.
you can talk about those two aspects as well.
Yeah, SMS is really fundamental to all of our markets.
Yeah.
It's still the biggest communication channel. It's still the most universal communication channel that's going to let you talk to everyone across the board, regardless of the type of phone they have.
Correct.
So SMS is still critical, and we've embedded that into Moja. It's for you to do two-way interactions within Moja itself. So not just WhatsApp and all of these channels, but also the traditional SMS messages. You can still get in the same inbox so that your customer service team or your sales team can handle those leads or those issues.
So what you're saying is basically that Moja is a unified messaging platform
Correct.
where seamlessly talking to all these customers
Yes,
in
and
one
really
place.
for the first time, traditionally, right, businesses always used one thing at a time.
Correct. Very
Only use
fragmented.
the
Yeah.
SMS, or you only use USSD.
Correct.
But this is the one place now where you can really bring all of them together for interactive services. That's the second difference, right? Usually it was one way. Me as a business, I'm broadcasting, take it or leave it.
Correct.
But now really it's the customer initiating the conversation, saying, I want this. And then now, how are you really going to solve it as a business?
Yes. Sorry, I'm really gonna get all this
No,
juicy
go for
content
it,
for
yeah.
our audience, but when you just said as USSD, that's yet another element of Moja.
Yes, we're actually working on embedding USSD in there as well.
Wow.
It's not there yet.
It's
But
coming.
So what it'll help you do is basically track which customer did an interaction on USSD.
Uh-huh.
So even if they come back and talk to you on WhatsApp, or you send an SMS to them, you know that this customer has already done a journey with you on some other channels. So
Okay.
you have that visibility, and you know that the customer can have a 360 view on the CRM in terms of who this customer is, how has he been interacting with me,
Which touch points?
which touch points,
Correct.
and what is his profile.
Uh-huh.
Right? So it becomes in the future a complete customer data platform.
Correct. Correct.
That's the long term.
So, when we think about Beem as a business and looking at Moja, what's the easiest way? I mean, for instance, I run an SME, an agency, as you know. What would be the easiest way of us onboarding as a potential customer? How do I get Moja?
Of course. I think it's dead simple, and we've tried to make it dead simple.
Yeah.
You just sign up on our website.
Okay.
It's free to create an account,
Okay.
and you get to experience or engage in our Moja platforms.
Okay.
And as soon as you're in, you can request a trial account, right?
Okay.
It's a self onboarding process. to get you set up on a trial,
Okay.
and you get to experience the platform very quickly.
So right there for free.
Right there for free, you can try it out, and then once you're ready, then we help you now get set up and onboard with your actual number, so that your customers can now be served on Moja itself. And then if you want chatbots and all the really cool features, we help you incrementally get those on board as well.
When it comes to the markets or the market segments that you're serving, or where you see the greatest opportunity for Moja,
Yes.
where are you currently seeing that happening? Where do you see the biggest impact when it comes to the kind of industries or markets that are using this product?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest segments and where the business have the biggest pain points are the big B2C segments,
Uh-huh.
where businesses are serving customers directly,
Okay.
and have a lot of, and especially service businesses,
Okay.
where they're getting a lot of inbound requests, right?
Okay. Okay.
So think of your pay TV or
Okay.
media companies. Think of your logistics and travel.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Think of your hospitals and healthcare,
Oh, wow. Okay.
or the education space, or mobile operators or ISPs, where you have a lot of daily queries that you're handling. But also more traditional businesses, right? Like FMCG and consumer goods, where you need to want to interact with the end customer or your distributor, because your distributors could be in the thousands as well. So even for those B2B use cases, where it's almost like B2C, this is a really valuable channel to use.
So what is the current footprint of Beem? I think in your presentation today earlier, there was some very interesting statistics. Maybe you can tell us a little bit in terms of what have you accomplished thus far?
No, that's. I think we're really proud of the fact that we've managed to cover about 25 different markets on the continent, where we're present and work with customers and mobile operators.
Okay.
As far north as Morocco, and west is Senegal, and then obviously all the way east here in Kenya. We're covering all those 25 markets. We work with over 60 mobile operators across these markets, and with the likes of Airtel, MTN, Vodafone, Orange in all of these markets. And then obviously here in Kenya, we work with the telcos. We help you deliver your communication services.
Okay. And some of the highlights, I think I heard some numbers there, like you've done over, is it 2 billion transactions?
Yeah, 2 billion customer interactions. We just crossed that milestone recently. It's a major milestone, I think, and it just shows that we're able to deliver communications at scale and do it across different countries, and really allow businesses to operate at that level.
Okay.
Right? And I think that's where businesses, especially Kenyan businesses, want to go. They want to be able to serve not just Kenyan customers, but go beyond and serve them across different markets.
Correct.
And that's where we're here to help them do that.
That's a beautiful thing. So I get onto your platform and I'm not just in Kenya. I can use it across any market
yes.
where
And
you
that's
have
the
a
beauty of
presence.
Moja and our SMS and all of our communication channels. It helps you scale from day one. So you can start here, but immediately I can replicate the same thing in any market that you want.
Okay. Now, there's something also I want to bring up, because one of the things I've noticed about the space you're operating, and I don't know whether we broadly call it conversational marketing or messaging, I don't know what the phrase is nowadays, but it seems to me that there's a lot of competitors operating in this space.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, maybe with your own perspectives or your own insight,
Yes.
what are the things that you feel distinguish you from them in terms of maybe how you bring the product to market or the customer experience? Because all of them claim
to
to
do the
essentially
same.
do the same thing.
Yeah, I think there's some strong differentiators that we have. One, obviously, is our really local context,
Okay.
right? Not just for East Africa, but a really African context in terms of the businesses, in terms of the challenges businesses are facing here on the ground,
Okay.
right? Most of our competitors are Europeans or other global providers that don't have that same level of context about what businesses, the challenges that they're facing here
On the ground, yeah.
We took our ground.
I mean, from your own family business, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
You saw the real time. What is
Exactly.
wrong? Yeah, yeah.
So we understand that, and we're really tailoring our product for those different industries and really local and contextual challenges. And to add to that, we're partnering with local businesses and platforms so that we solve those business problems together. So we've partnered with payment platforms like DPO and Paystack, with logistics companies and with other tech platforms, so that we're solving all of the business's problems together to solve the entire customer journey, right? From the first interaction to the payment to the delivery. Because we're not going to be able to do all of that, but we can bring all the pieces together, so it's really easy for businesses to do it in one place.
So I think you just extended what I believe what you are as a business, because I think initially I've been saying conversational marketing, but it sounds like commerce, right? It's the end to end, right?
Exactly, and we really want to become a platform for businesses to leverage all of these digital communication channels to serve and to do digital commerce or social commerce or conversational commerce, as the new lingo is. Because that's where the customers are and that's where they want to be. So why go anywhere else?
Absolutely, and I mean, meet them where they are. There's maybe a couple more questions before we wrap up. I think I have to ask, because I think it's important. This technology stack that you've developed, I mean, obviously, clearly over 10 years or so. Tell me a bit more about that journey, because I know you're an engineer by background, but what has it been like? I mean, given the fact that you've innovated and created this, I believe, locally, unless you've done offshoring or development. But what was that like, given that you're, a Tanzanian-based business and literally building this platform from ground up for yourselves?
No, it's a very good question, very apt. I think it's been a journey, right? Like, if I put it simply, it's been a very long journey. It has its share of ups and downs and hiccups, right? But I think we've learned a lot and matured a lot as a business over time. And all of this has been built here on the continent, right? So it's very contextual, right? Our engineers understand the problems that users face here on the ground. And we're really proud of the fact that our technology stack now is really at a world-class level, because we're able to operate and handle these interactions at scale, right? But yes, we've learned and we've grown the platform incrementally, improved them, and learned from our customers in terms of the challenges they're facing and how to adapt and improve our platform to do that.
Okay. So a couple more questions. The first one would be, looking out 2 to 5 years down the road, where do you see Beem going?
No, I think the journey is just started. Even though it's been a decade, I think it feels like the journey is just starting. I think we're looking to grow to a few more markets in the next couple of years, on the continent and beyond. Actually, maybe perhaps even the Middle East. Those are markets that we're looking at and really see a lot of potential in. But also other markets within the continent that are seeing the same level of uptake of mobile, of social, and all of those trends and dynamics that we spoke about. So that's definitely a place. And even within the traditional messaging, SMS and USSD, there's still a lot of headroom, and there's still a lot of customers that need to adopt these channels. We're still see a lot of growth there, and we're continuing to serve customers and onboard new customers in that space.
Yeah. And maybe your last parting shot would be possibly two things. One, given that you've gone through the entrepreneur journey, I've done it for 20 plus years, so I know that it has its ups and downs, but are there any nuggets or things you'd like to share around the experience of being an entrepreneur, building a technology first product? And then also, if there's anything else you'd like to share with our audience that you think would be relevant to Beem, possibly Moja, that they should know about.
Yeah, I think entrepreneurship is a journey, and I always encourage young entrepreneurs, and I mentor a lot of them, and I invest in startups as well, that the first thing is to start. Right? Take the steps, just start.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be anything big. Take a small problem and start solving it for those customers. And for someone that's close, like I did for my parents, take the steps, start, and then you'll learn and you'll understand more problems and just keep building on top of it. And I always encourage entrepreneurs to bootstrap first, because I think it encourages you to be very focused, very hungry, and really solve a problem that a customer is willing to pay you for. Because that means that there's real demand if they're willing to take money out of their pocket and pay you to solve that problem.
Correct.
And then once that's there, then there's nothing to stop you, because you'll keep incrementally improving your product. Then you can go out and raise money and do all of those things, because you have customers, you're solving a real problem, and you have products, and it's a track record. So that's what I usually encourage entrepreneurs to.
Fantastic. I'm of the same philosophy, because we now live in an environment where, I don't know whether you're aware about this in Kenya, but we've had even a few companies go belly up that have been in this model of raise, and then now they can't raise and they can't operate. My business also has only been around, I think, as long as we have, because we've been generally operating on internally generated revenues. We've never raised a round. We've had to sell to function. So I think that's very wise, given the context we're living in right now in Africa.
Yeah, and I think we're a testament to that.
Yeah.
We've scaled and we've grown to all of these markets without raising. We've bootstrapped all of this way.
Yes.
There's a time and a place for raising. I think, funding drives growth.
Correct.
But in the early stages, I think you want to get product market fit right. And then the investment can come in for scaling, and that's where it's valuable.
Okay.
And then the timing is right.
So you think you don't have to raise any rounds yourself?
We've never raised till date.
Wow.
We may look to raise in the future, but till date,
To now, it's all organic.
it's all organic growth.
And I think the other thing you gave, which I think is powerful, is this idea of just start. I remember even in my own experience, 20 plus years ago, when I asked a few people to come on board and work with me, no one was really willing to.
Yes.
So I just bit the bullet, started doing it. And,
Exactly. You have to take the leap.
take the leap and do it. And then maybe any last words about Beem or anything you think the audience should know about?
No, I
that'd
think
be appreciated.
we're here.
Yeah.
We always come when we take steps. We take steps for the long run. We're here. We're going to patiently grow and form really strong relationships with our customers and grow with them and solve those local problems. So happy to have conversations and see how we can help you and your business solve problems. And also, if you're looking to partner with us, work with us, we're always open to those conversations and always looking for talent. So come reach out. Yeah, actually, there's one more thing.
Yeah.
In terms of how people can work with us, we have a lot of other programs.
Yeah.
So there's a developer champion
Oh, yeah,
program,
of course, you talked about that. Yeah.
a Beem startups program,
Okay.
and a reseller program. So there's many ways that you can work with us as Beem, aside from being a customer. Our champions program really brings developers work, because if once you're certified to work with our APIs, we have customers that want help with integrations.
Correct.
So we then connect you to those customers. So you get work from Beem.
Correct.
Then our startups program is really to enable those fast-growing startups that are early and need credits. So we give free credits to those startups to try out our products and embed communication into your apps. And then once you grow, you can continue using the Beem products.
Fantastic.
And the reseller program, obviously, as the name suggests, helps you use some of our services like our SMS platform on a reseller model to serve your own customers.
Great. Thanks so much, Taha. It's
Thank
been
you,
a
Moses.
pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, wishing you all the best as you move Beem forward in Kenya and the rest of the region. I'm particularly excited again to just see what is possible, and more importantly, thank you for sharing so openly regarding the journey and of course where Beem is going from here.
Thank you.
Right, and all the best.
Thanks.